The galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of Man. This is the Age of Darkness. Whether you're a warrior of the Legiones Astartes, an adept of the Mechanicum, or just a mere mortal in a universe of madness, you'll find a place here. Welcome to the Remembrancer's Retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the Vengeful Spirit.
Hello and welcome to the Remembrancer's Retreat, a Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse, and I'm here with Dave and Austin and Kaylee, the dog. How you doing?
And whiskey, but she's being good.
How you guys doing tonight?
Doing good, man.
Doing good.
Yeah. Can't complain.
Yeah. So, one of the biggest things going on in 30k right now is Daemons.
Oh, yeah.
And I witnessed a match with Steven and Will on Sunday, and it was pretty impressive, and Daemons are definitely going to be a major meta changer.
What army was Will bringing?
Will brought his Shattered Legions, mostly Iron Hands and some Raven Guard Mordathan, a few armored units like a Scaran Arcus, a Rhino, which was just there for show, and his Artilax? Why can I not pronounce Mechanicum? The Artilax, the guy with the big whip he has.
Right.
Yeah. And, he played a mission out of Book 8, which I can't remember off the top of my head. It was the one... It was mission Book 8 where the Daemons basically had to get on to his side of the map. It was deployment of... on the short ends, more or less. Well, the Daemons had, free range everywhere.
Yeah, shenanigans.
Was Steven playing his own mission, or were they both playing the same mission?
I believe they were both playing the same mission. I think, yeah.
So Steven was.
It was a specific scenario out of the book.
Oh, got it. Okay. Steven did not elect to use the demon special rules to. I don't know what
play his own game.
Play his own game. Yeah.
Do whatever he wants.
But Will's coming on a little bit later to talk about that. So
that's right.
That'll be really fun because I think he is the first person in our group that's actually played. He and Steven are the first people that have actually played with the rules.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's definitely eye-opening.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they'll get you.
Yeah.
And with everybody going crazy over demons, like everyone and their cousin now is like, I'm going to build this demon army.
I already have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking pretty sweet.
Yeah, Austin's table's just full of just these demon-looking
crazy
things. Yeah, I converted up a whole bunch of stuff for a Night Stalker army for Kings of War, which are a different faction from Kings of War demons, but are very much more like warp demons in their fluff. They're everything that's from your nightmares in an alternate dimension in between, the fabric of reality.
Yeah, they're looking pretty gnarly.
Yeah, so mine are very creepy. A lot of like albino, wet, dead thing in the water that washed up on shore kind of look. And they're going to be a lot of fun to play with this new list.
Well, Austin, that's a great segue into...
Did you like that?
It was a good setup, man. Because I think what we're going to get into is some of the unit entries and looking at some of the rules in Book 8 for Demons of the Ruinstorm. And I think that the easiest way to sort of digest this, right, is to just have you talk about what you're doing for your army and sort of the way you're tooling out your units. And then... because that'll let us go back and forth between emanations, right? And then the unit entries, so sort of what everybody gets when you pay the points for a unit.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit different from the other podcasts. We're going to just do it very organically.
Yeah,
as you're doing list instead of going through. So, yeah, if you're looking for a rundown, step by step, this may not be the episode for you, but it's still going to be fun.
You're going to enjoy it because you have no choice. You've already downloaded it. Don't waste your time and delete it now.
And hopefully people will have their Book 8s.
Yes.
By now.
Hopefully. I don't, but I've got your Book 8, and that's all I needed to make this demon army happen.
Perfect.
So in a previous episode, I talked a little bit about the etheric dominions. Mm-hmm. So what I'm taking from mine is the Maddening Swarms one, which I guess is kind of the Tzeentch-esque of the 5. But really what I'm doing it for, because I'm going to try and do you won't be able to tell what like demon god of chaos they serve from looking at them. But what I did it for is to get the extra emanation of horror. So where most of these things will say, hey, take 2 emanations of horror, which are the upgrades that you get, rending or furious charge or whatever the hell.
Right.
I'll be able to take an extra one on top of that.
And that's per unit.
Per unit.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So for example, the Ruinstorm Demon Lord, which I don't have a model for because it's on 130 mil base.
Crazy.
But I'm going to find myself something. I've got something picked out. We'll see what happens when this promotion paycheck starts coming in. Tell you what. So he can take up to 3 emanations of horror. Except for me, I can take 4.
Wow.
Jeez.
Which is pretty sweet. He's only weapon skill 6, BS and BS 5. I thought weapon skill 6 was a little weird. Like that's Praetor level, but this is a Ruinstorm Demon Lord, which is a step above like a greater demon.
Yeah.
You're paying 200 points for him. Base.
You are paying 200 points for him base.
Yep.
Which is fine as far as it goes. Like I'm not disappointed that, why isn't he weapon skill 9? He's a demon. I just thought it was kind of fun that they made him so that if you've got like Siggy or some badass combat Astartes, I mean, they'll hit him on 3s. He's still strength 8, toughness 6 with 6 wounds, which is horrifying, especially if you remember the Tides of Madness, I think is the rule.
The
Tide of Madness that gives him +1 strength and toughness for the first couple of turns. That'll be real rough.
Yeah.
Only initiative 4, and that's kind of like a theme you'll see in this list, is that initiative and weapon skill aren't as good as you would think, knowing like either the fluff or the 40K or the back in the day fantasy armies, because they're supposed to be just generic demon, right? So this is the same guy that's going to be your big fancy, Lord of Change or whatever, and also, your great unclean one. So it's a very kind of even middle of the road stats for demons.
So how are you going to tool this guy out with your 4 emanations of horror?
Yeah, right. So this is a weird one, just because he's so good. I think I'm going to give him first off Molten Blood, just because I think that's hilarious, and I have the extra one, right? So it's $5 points.
$5.
$5 is the same thing.
Yeah.
And whenever you take an unsaved wound, any enemy unit locked in combat suffers a strength of user AP-hit. Against most things, right? Like if you're fighting Marines or Terminators or something, even if they're 2 wounds, it's not great.
Sure.
But I got a feeling a lot of people are going to try and deal with this guy via Dreadnought. And if I can say, you did one of my 6 wounds, and now take a strength 8 or 9 hit, seems kind of rude.
Yeah.
Give him a Rift Barb, which is 12-inch range, AP3, Assault 1, Armor Bane, Strength, the user +2. Not sure how much use I'll get out of it. I mean, it's a good like short-range anti-tank thing, but I feel like this guy with his 6 attacks, he wants to be mulching through like Terminators or something, so it might be a little overkill, but there ain't no kill like overkill. I'm also going to give him not Ephemeral Terror, because you can't give him that, but maybe Shroud of Darkness, just for the lulls. That is the emanation. That's defensive grenades, essentially. You don't get the bonus attacks for charging him. So people like Red Butchers or somebody that thinks, oh, well, I'll just drown him and strength, 6 attacks. Well, probably not.
Yeah.
20 points per model, though, not cheap.
No, not cheap at all. But worth it. I mean, so right now that puts him at like 250-ish. Yeah, right at 240. And then who knows? Like, there's not a whole lot else that I would really want to give him. I know a lot of people are talking about giving him Lord of Sorcery, which is how you get the Psyker levels in this.
Okay.
Technically, there's no upper limit. You can make a Mastery level 30 Demon Lord.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it gets diminishing returns real quick, in my opinion.
Sure.
He does get, though, to select
I mean, I don't know.
any power from any discipline except Malefic or Sanctic Demonology. So you can't use him to summon a horde of demons. Obviously, you can't get Sanctic. But, you know, if you have a battle plan and you specifically want, you know, I want this power and this power and this power, you don't, like, you can math for that. It'll happen every time. No more praying for Iron Arm or whatever it is that you want. Just take it.
So and Will's here. Will, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me?
Yep, let me pull up the volume here a little bit. How about now? Can you hear us a little bit more?
Yeah, no, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, you're good now.
Definitely.
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Will's here.
Hey, Will.
What's going on? Sorry, dudes. I'm trying to get used to Hangout, so give me a minute.
Yeah, no problem.
Worries,
Yeah, no worries.
Hey, just remind me real quick, because it's been a minute since I played my Thousand Suns. How does the warp charge pool work, right? Like, it's you roll 2d6, and you have that many, and then you add your mastery level?
You roll 1d6.
Oh, just 1d6.
Plus your total mastery level.
So, I mean, that's no joke, dude.
So yeah, if you want to spend 1 billion points, mastery level 30, you roll 30 dice plus d6.
I mean, that's...
You'll miscast and kill yourself, but you can do it.
But you don't have to roll all 30 dice at once. I mean, that would be an enormous
and that's just the pool. So if you've got some other units that are psychers, they can like leech off those dice as well.
Sure. I mean, you won't be making friends with the person on the other side of the table.
No, you won't. And honestly, I think that's a super, just from like, you know, the whack net listing, that's just such a stupid idea. Because, yeah, he's toughness 6 and 6 wounds with a 5-up, 4-up. But that's it. And let's face it, in 30K...
5-up, 4-up is only
like
get you so far.
Somebody's going to be able to take you out. Now,
oh, yeah, definitely.
There is kind of a way around this in that you can take the brutes, which are, that's a stat line.
Okay.
As sort of his personal bodyguard. And I like these guys mainly because they're still toughness 6. So they've got a couple of special rules. And they have a guardian demon. That's the big one. Which is when a unit with this that includes one or more models with this special rule suffers a hit during the shooting phase, those hits must be allocated to models with this special rule before any other model, regardless of position or line of sight. So if you've got your big 6-wound Demon Lord sitting out there and somebody puts, you know, a heavy weapon squad's worth of autocannons into him, you can just make the brutes take it.
Make the brutes take it. And they don't have to be the closest.
Don't have to be the closest. You can have them hiding out behind a corner.
Wow.
And they take all the things.
They do. They wouldn't get their cover save, though. Like, if you're shooting at the Demon Lord who's in open, then the brutes who are behind the...
I think they would.
Oh, wow, really?
They would be if they're in cover, like area train or something, they'd be models in cover, right? It would you would treat it like, you know, the Demon Lord isn't there.
You just, yeah.
So I think they get their cover saves and all that.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty nasty, dude.
And then, so we talked before about how demons don't start on the table, right? You got to roll the 3 up, get them through one of your warp rifts. And I know there are probably people thinking, oh God, but what if I roll all 1s and 2s and I'll auto lose before the game even starts? Or, you know, some asshole Blood Angel comes down with a drop pod list and suddenly Steven Scal Vorback nonsense. There's a bunch of stuff just, you know, I can't get out of my warp rifts.
Warp rift, yeah.
These guys have a special rule called Vanguard of Hell. So on the first turn of the game, a unit composed entirely of models with a special rule, which is the Demon Lords and Demon Brutes, get to pick whether they interplay or not. So you can automatically have them show up turn 1, which does take some of the pressure off of, oh God, I've got to get something out turn 1.
Yeah.
It's also good if he's going to be like a level 4 Psyker Lord and you want to start,
Summoning.
making powers and doing stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you decide not to, because it's not compulsory, you roll for them like normal, starting on turn 2. So it's not, hey, every turn do I want to bring him on or not? There is a little randomness if you decide not to have him, jump out all big and bold turn 1. But I think it's a nice touch.
Yeah, definitely. Because we've sort of been talking about some of this. I don't know what you call it, sort of initial reaction, right? When people get their hands on Book 8, they sort of read through the rules for the first time. I know I did this, right? And I was like, oh man, you can drop assault this army off the table without them ever being able to come through the warp rift, right? Because, the rules are that enemy models can't move, or, you can't move through enemy models, right?
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, if you just were able to surround it, that 5-inch template, that warp rift, you would, theoretically block that off as a viable deployment zone. But Austin and I were talking, and if you just give at least one unit the flying ability.
So, and now of course I've just got.
I know we're jumping.
I've just gone away from that page because I was like, oh, I can go right back to it.
The demonic wings.
Yeah, you can give them demonic wings, and they become jump pack infantry. So, and this is something I saw online just today, where someone's like, oh, you can give them wings and they can deep strike. No. Very specifically, no. It is impossible for demons to deep strike because of the rule that says you have to come out of one of your little warp holes.
Parting of the veil.
Yeah, parting of the veil.
So I noticed a quick little blurb here with the demonic wings. It says the unit's type is changed from infantry to jump pack infantry or jump pack monstrous creature. Mm-hmm. Does that mean you have a choice of whether you can be jump pack infantry or monstrous creature?
No, it just alters whatever you already are.
Don't get whack on me, Jesse.
I know. I'm just curious.
No, it's it's to specify because you can give it to things that are monstrous creatures.
Yeah.
Although having said that, I'm sure at some event somewhere in the next 6 months, someone will try to make that argument.
Yeah.
These guys do have Eternal Warrior, which gives them quite a lot of, I think, resilience.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty badass. As they should, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, he shouldn't be instant death by some jackass.
You hear everything okay here?
And delusions of grandeur.
Yeah, I can hear you guys just fine.
Okay, that's a little bit better.
I think that also works for Force, too, doesn't it? If you hit him with the Force weapon. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. No wannabe librarians ruining everyone's day.
Yeah. All right, so you were talking about Will, first-hand experience with, or where were we at?
Well, we were just running through the very first entry, which was the Ruinstorm Demon Lord, and how Austin was sort of kitting him out. Let's finish with that, and then we can jump into Will's game, I think.
Sounds good.
Yeah, so there's only a couple other things to think on. The Brutes have Hammer of Wrath, which is cool because there's a specific emanation that gives you Hammer of Wrath, and if you already have it, it goes to D3. Which, I'm not a guy that plays a lot of jump infantry things with Hammer of Wrath, but I like the idea of getting 9 free attacks before combat really starts.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially. And then the Ruinstorm Demon Lord has Eternal Warrior.
Boo.
Yeah, boo. What?
Boo.
Your tyrannic greatswords won't save you
That's
now.
all I got. That's all I got.
Yeah, so no getting force weapon to death or anything like that. He is out for your soul, and he will get it. Yeah. So yeah, I think that handles the Demon Lord.
Okay. Will, did you have to fight one of these guys in your game against Steven?
No, I didn't. That motherfucker brought not Starbrand. What is the other one?
No,
Samus.
Samus, yeah.
Oh, he brought Samus, which is even worse.
And let me tell you something, dude.
Here we go.
It is
He's the
something
end of the
else
death.
entirely to, like, I know Constantine Valdor was like, OP, letting Custodes drop in for 275 and all that. That needed to be fixed. But holy shit, Samus being like 425 points. I'm not saying he's overpowered at all.
415.
Let's get that clear. 415, whatever, right? Not overpowered, but he's a fucking Lord of War in a headquarters slots, dude. So this guy is no joke. I'm talking T9, Strength 9, It Will Not Die, Eternal Warrior, messes with your reserve rolls. The dude, it's like they took the worst parts of him in the Ruinstorm, like his first iteration, right? How it was like just absolutely terrible, and people who, it's like,
Cranked him up to 11.
Yeah, they were like, we're sorry that we made this guy so terrible. Here's our apology. He's now a fucking monster on the table. Enjoy, guys. And I was totally unprepared for it, man. My first round of shooting. So first off, Steven got every unit on the table turn one.
Oh my god.
Okay?
Yeah.
Jesus.
He didn't fail a single reserve roll.
Well, that's not good.
No, it's not good at all. The mission we were playing was from Book 8, and it was to where I, the non-demon player, had to end the game and make sure he was not in my deployment zone. That was it. That's all I had to do. And it seemed impossible. The game was over by turn 2, I'll tell you that right now. But
Wow.
we kept playing it until the
Jesus.
full length,
Wow.
just to get more experience by it. He'd already killed all my scoring units by turn 2.
Okay, well let's talk about deployment, because this is something that Austin and I have been talking about. I think with a demon army, it's going to be very important to deploy the objectives. Did this mission have any objectives?
Nope.
Oh well, there you go.
Balls to that plan.
Yeah. So that's not great off the start. So Steven basically could deploy his warp rifts anywhere he wanted on the table.
Oh, and he did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this mission already sounds like it was set up for the demon army to just crush balls and take names.
Yeah,
But-
it definitely did, considering that I rolled a D3, and so let me back up and explain this mission, right? So the mission is that I'm protecting the red tier.
Can
right?
Will, do you have book 8? Can we just? I want to be able to look at this mission. Do we
I
know?
don't have book 8.
All right,
Whichever
Give me
one
one
is
second. I'll
where
find it real quick.
whichever one is the humans protecting the red tier.
Okay, we're gonna find it here.
Yeah. Once you guys find it, I'm cooking my chicken. I'll be here. Let me know when you guys find it.
Is that like a euphemism?
What do you?
Is that like a metaphor? What is that?
No,
You are the only one that's not
straight up
here,
tell
just-
you I would straight up tell you I'm cranking the yank. Yeah, that's what I was.
All right.
But so the mission already started out where I had some sort of like table edge, right? That I could haul the whole of the red tier.
Okay.
Now this was my fault because I didn't look and read the mission. I took Steven thinking, I just
was it
listened to what he said and was like, good to go. Yeah.
172 Gilded Wreck.
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Yes,
Yeah.
Gilded Wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there was a table, right? Take a look at the table on the right-hand side.
Yep.
And I was thinking that I had to protect the whole of the red tier. So I put a lot of my forces on that side of the table that was the red tier, not understanding that, I kept like blowing myself up as reactors were over too, which wasn't great.
Oh God.
Yeah. So it was a rough game setup, and I don't know if it was one of those scenarios where like the non-demons were supposed to have more points, or but honestly, I just feel like my list was not prepared at all.
And you took a pretty like standard all comers list in the current meta kind of army, right?
Yes, I took the list that I won doubles with and that I've been playing with for the past year. Like my standard go-to army, which is a little bit of Raven Guard thrown in with a little bit of Iron Hands, some air support, some armor support, some Monster Screech. It really is like, I call it the kitchen sink because it's got a little bit of everything in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Shattered Legion?
Yes, yeah. And so first off, I was like, well, the Raven Guard will help, right? They'll help me control some territory. But I guess from what Steven said, that the warp rifts go down before infiltration.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had to infiltrate afterwards, and I was like, well, at this point, I'll just try to infiltrate to create a speed bump to slow them down. So I infiltrated my Mordathan up with a Vigilator to try to, I have combi plasmas on them, so I was going to do mark target, but then he brought out the Screamers. Oh my god. And they just mind howled me. And I was like, great. So my best shooting unit is now ballistic skill 1. Perfect. Okay. That's a good start.
Was it the Screamers or the blue horrors?
Whichever it was. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Screamers, blue horrors, some witchy poop bullshit looking thing. They look so tiny and stupid, and then they just decimated that spot.
Blue horrors.
I was so mad.
Jesus.
Yeah, that was rough.
I will say, I was able to kill a tactical squad, went against a Demonette squad that had Quicksilver speed and Rending, and the tactical squad came out on top. That was pretty good, but I will also tell you that it took a Fury of the Legion, and it took Shadrach raising the Storm to get +1 weapon skill and then Hatred for their first turn of the charge. So it's... Oh, all right, I'm sorry. I'm scatterbrained all over this. Let's back up. David, you sound like you have structure idea you want to talk about. Let's do that. Okay?
Well, so, I mean, Austin and I have sort of been trying to figure out what the right way to address demons, might be. So like turn 1 and 2, they're just super tough, right? They're +1 toughness, +1 strength. They're all beefed up from just popping out of the warp. And so, do you think if you had to play this again, knowing what you know now, right? Do you think a viable tactic would be to try to maybe turtle up and sort of play the long game, maybe push off, see if you can take it to turn 3 where they go back down? I don't know. What do you think?
So here, immediately, I've been thinking, doing a little after action review in my mind here, right?
Yeah.
With the way that demons deploy, they have to be within their movement from a bubble. And Steven was running large squads of them. So he ended up having to put dudes way further back on the third portal because he just didn't have enough room for this clusterfuck that came out turn 1, right?
Right. It was a long ways deployment. So
yeah.
Right.
So things like Demolisher cannons would have been really great then, right? Strength 10, AP 2, with Power of the Machine Spirit, and you wouldn't even need Power of the Machine Spirit, right? No. On turn 1. But making sure that demons go first, if you have the option, make sure they go first. Keep your soft dudes in the transports until their marine stat line.
Right.
So I disembarked a tactical squad out of a Rhino so they could Fury in turn 2 against some Plague Bearers. And it was just bad. I should have waited until they were lower toughness and then done it. So yeah, keep your infantry in their transports. Use your high strength, low AP. Well, AP's irrelevant. That's what I'm finding out with demons. Some of them have AP or 3-up armor, but just focus on high strength. So I think autocannons and heavy bolters are going to be great.
Yep.
Anything with high strength volume of fire. Honestly, I'm thinking autocannons are going to be one of your best anti-demon weapons out there.
Yeah, man. Just DACA.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 48 inches, like a typical heavy support squad will get 2 shots with autocannons. It's strength 7, so you're going to wound the lesser demons on a 2+, I think.
Yeah, it'll be a 2+ constantly.
Yeah. And you don't have to worry about their armor because they're gonna get their invul save anyways, and they're gonna use their invul save because they can re-roll it because they're within 6 inches of their warp rift turn 1, you know?
Right.
Another thing is, as far as demon plays go, like being a demon player, like your troops, your lesser demons are incredibly powerful. And just being able to run a whole army with maxed out troops, that's 6 scoring units, you're going to win a lot of the time just based off that alone, I think.
Yeah, that's one of the things for my militia armies. I have 6 troops every game, and
but your troops don't have 2 wounds apiece either.
They are definitely squishier, but even with that, I normally end the game with models still on the table. Granted, 1 or 2 out of squads that used to be 20 strong.
Yeah.
And like you said, they're only toughness 3 with 1 wound. These guys are showing up, toughness 4 with 2 wounds, 5 up involts. It's disconcerting.
So
like beefed up Terminators.
Right?
So Will, aside from Samus being just super powerful and a huge dick, what was some of the other tactics that Steven was using, or I guess not tactics, but just what did he bring?
He brought 6 units of lesser demon.
Okay.
Samus, and 1 3-unit of brutes. I'm sorry, greater beast. The greater beast, I was not impressed with. My Arlatak.
You think just demon beasts, right?
What's that?
Just demon beasts.
The greater demon beast.
So Ruinstorm demon beast.
The heavy support guys, 100 points. Tracking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, great!
Exactly.
Yeah, greater
Ruinstorm.
Ruinstorm. Okay, yeah.
That come in squadrons or squads or whatever. But anyways, my Arlatax he killed 2 of them and held the other one at bay until it died finally, and then he died that turn also to a bunch of bloodletters. But yeah, he killed all 3 bugs by himself.
That was in 4 turns, right?
Yeah.
Took him 4 turns.
Yeah, my Arlatax was kicking their bug shit faces in, dude. Like
having that adamantium will was helpful.
Having adamantium will. So every time he tried to enfeeble him on a 5-up, I'd save it and just be like, nah, that's not happening. He kept passing his "it will not die" and his "feel no pain," and they didn't have rending, so like he could use his 3-up armor the whole time. My Arlatax did super well.
Nice.
And also, I'll tell you that my Castellax went up against Samus, and they held him in turn for 3 turns because he didn't have they took away Samus's Paragon Blade that he used to have, so he couldn't instant death my Castellax. So
that might be just a valid tactic, man. It's just tar pit,
That's what it was. And the crazy thing was Steven tar pitted himself because he thought that he had the Paragon Blade before he went in. And it was only after he went in, he's like, oh, wait, no, I don't.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, man, it happened. It's all good.
He has a demonic blade.
The greater demons, I don't think were too. He had them for anti-armor, so they were supposed to kill my tanks, but I intercepted them with the Arlatax, right?
Right.
The whole best laid plans sort of thing. So that was a victory for me because if those bugs got to my tank, they would have destroyed them for sure.
Yeah, and I would like to bring to the listeners' attention real quick this new and improved Samus. Technically, people don't have to bring him. It doesn't.
That's true.
It doesn't actually replace the old Samus. So if you're hearing Will and you're hearing the heartbreak in his voice and think to yourself, man, I don't want to be that guy. You don't have to. You can bring the old one.
That's true. Or you hear the pain in his voice and it's like, man, I want to cause that and just bring him because you had a choice.
Yeah. No, it very specifically says it doesn't invalidate the old Samus.
Well, I thought it doesn't invalidate the old Samus for armies other than Demons of the Ruinstorm. I thought if you're using Demon of the Ruinstorm, you have to use that Samus. But, I mean, either way, I don't care. I mean, somebody wants to use the old Samus, go for it. But I'm telling you, dude, Samus is fucking awesome. And so is Utterblight. I'm adding Utterblight to my Demon because he is just first off, it's a cool model. But his rules are cool, too. He's like a little Samus.
Call Allie back real quick.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It does have a specific call-out box on page 244 of the designer.
So I'll say this also, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Immediately, I realized I don't have any volume of fire units in my army. Like I have more Dathan, which are my plasma. They're my Terminator hunters. I have my Arcus, which is like my big game hunter, but I don't have anything that can just spit out a bunch of dice other than tacticals, you know?
Right.
So I came home and started looking at it, and I'm going to be adding a heavy support squad of heavy bolters with what's that HQ? The heavy weapon specialist.
The Armistice? Armistos?
Armistice, yeah. And it's like perfect that they released the Armistice along with like this book, because he really is going to help out those heavy support squads for dealing with demons. So for those of you guys who are looking for counters, give him a look.
Nice.
Also, dreadnoughts are going to be a great counter, so look at the Mortifactor, because he's going to help you out taking out demons. But yeah, man, I mean, I was just not prepared with my kitchen sink list, and it's a great army. And Steven did an undivided list, and he made sure that each model like had appropriate representing rules. So his Plague Bearers had Miasma of Rot, and his Demonettes had Quicksilver, and his Bloodletters had what is that? The Rage or the Rend and Shred, and all that stuff. So you can build a very themed list still with these demons.
Yeah, that's really cool, man. That you can make the models represent sort of what they are.
Will, can you repeat all that? Because I opened up my iPad and I had Discord there, and it started talking through iPad.
So, you're terrible.
I know.
How far back do I have to repeat all
just that second where you're talking about the Volkite.
The what? Just the part where I talked about the whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah, start from there.
The Volkite.
Oh, the Volkite. No, yeah. I'm saying, Volkite. You got to start investing in Volkite. Like, Strength 5, AP 5. You don't care about
because
you don't
Strength
care about
5.
the AP.
Yeah.
But it's 4 shots that are Strength 5.
Yep.
And if you do cause wounds, they're going to cause additional wounds. Fuck yeah, dudes. Volkite. Volkite's back, baby.
Yep.
My militia
and the
dislike this a great deal.
That's right.
Man. Okay. Yeah. New game plan, y'all. Volkite or die.
But you were talking about a plane, Will. What's the plane you were talking about?
Oh, the Lightning Strike fighter, right, that I use. I have been using the crack missiles on that thing because it has the 2 missile launcher, or 3 missile launchers, whatever you buy, but they're twin-linked and they don't run out of ammo. So you can use the frag missiles, the crack missiles, or the rad missiles. It's like a really great multi-tool over the Kraken penetrators, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So even though I had high strength and I had like the rad missiles that always wound on a 2+, it didn't matter that I had that because the plane didn't come on in time because Samus messed with my reserves. And by the time the plane did come on, they were spread out enough to where I wasn't getting enough under the templates to really matter. So yeah. Volkite, dude, that's where it is. Those militia tanks, the little, what do they call them? The crocodiles? Yeah.
Yeah, the Carnodon.
Those things, how they can take Volkite, the Solar Auxilia tanks that can take the twin-linked heavy Volkite, the Lemian Russes. Yeah, I think those are going to be some of your better bets to take out dudes. You definitely need to start looking into invest in Volkite. Yeah. Shotgun shells and ammo.
Volkite culverins.
I'm telling
6
you, dude,
AP5, heavy 4. Yeah, 45-inch range too, so.
Yeah, an armistice with those guys, or whatever he is, giving them mastercrafted, yeah, thank you. I'll take that.
There you go.
But yeah, that's it. I mean, if you guys have any questions, let me know. But I mean, it's a rough army, and you're going to have to fight it differently. You're going to have to start preparing your all-comers list a little bit differently and planning for demons to be in there. So yeah. Just be ready.
Bring sisters as allies.
Yep. I think one of the most interesting things about a demon army is, like Dave was saying, you're like most armies in 30K, like there isn't a whole lot of like turn 1 alpha strike, the game is over in 30K. But still, like most of us are long-term 40K players. We still want to start killing stuff turn 1 and 2. Like we want to be an assault turn 2. We want to do all of our shoot. Like we want to get there and murder people. That is the exact wrong thing to do against demons. Like with demons, if you could magically just freeze time until turn 5, like that's when you really want to start fighting demons, right? When they start getting the toughness and strength debuffs. So it's an interesting like mess with somebody's head.
Yeah, and this scenario did you absolutely no favors. But I think one of the things that Austin and I were talking about for demons is being in the deployment phase is to use those objective markers strategically to, protect your own sort of deployment zone, lines of communication, right? So you use those objective markers to sort of fence off where the demon player can drop his warp rifts, because it very specifically says that those warp rifts can't be deployed within, is it 6 or 12, I think?
6 inches of an edge or 12 inches of an objective or enemy unit.
Right. So that the more objectives you have on the table, the better I think it is for the non-demon player, because you can start to sort of control
absolutely
where those go. And it doesn't become such an alpha strike. I mean, good God, man, I can't imagine 3 warp rifts like right up in your shit.
And the whole army came in at once.
And
right?
that's just, that's...
You got the absolute worst thing a demon army could do to you your first time playing demons.
Yeah, so I figure after that, if I can get back from that and not have been tabled, then I'm fine. Although I tell you that the mission
it's all downhill from here.
He says
the mission
was
lost by turn 2, but I wasn't tabled by the end, so I'm okay.
Yeah,
you held on, man. Yeah,
and I feel that's very very thematic, right? Like what the hell is this army? What you're doing? What?
Yeah.
Oh God!
And I'll tell you, it was the Arcus strike tank that came in alive at the end because he didn't have anything to deal with armor. Like, all of his dudes were melee, and I could just drive away from his melee dudes that were trying to get me. And, I mean, I could have eventually just kited them around forever, I guess,
Fair. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that demons, apart from, warp powers, or psychic powers, have nothing with a range longer than 12 inches. Got to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said for, playing the long game, building in some sort of, fallback room in your battle plan, being able to sort of give ground, buy yourself some time, and then hopefully let that crazy demon buff, wear off.
Hey, if the game goes until turn 7, your instant deathing is lesser demons with bolters. I'm just saying.
I don't think I've ever played a game that went to turn 7, but it'd be beautiful if it did.
That always seems to happen to me, very
really?
Specifically when I absolutely need it not to.
Right. Yeah. When you absolutely would have won like turn 5, and then you're like, oh fuck, we're gonna go for another. It's okay, I can hold out, and then you go for another one. You're like, I lost this.
Yeah, that's my malicious life sometimes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Perturabo, he can hold it to. He can change it to turn 6, right? He can't do to 7.
I don't know. I think so. I don't even know what missions go to turn 7. I thought variable game length, like auto ended turn 6.
Yeah, there must be some sort of
a special scenario or
no,
something.
There are some scenarios that go to 7.
Yeah, are there?
Or their random game length, which goes from 5 to 7.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Very cool. Well, Will, we're gonna. I think we'll go back to the unit entries for the demons. If there's anything you want to jump in with, man, then please do. Because I think we're gonna let Austin sort of talk about his army list that he's building.
Sure.
But yeah, if we have any questions about like what Steven had, and if you know the answer, definitely jump in.
Sounds good. All right, cool.
Cool.
All right. So the next, still in the HQ slots, is the Ruinstorm Greater Demon. He's 160 points, and sort of, your generic step down, right? Like, if you're playing 40K and you know the difference between a chapter master and a captain in 7th edition, this is the captain version, right? Only strength 7 instead of 8, weapon skill 5 instead of 6. You know,
He loses Eternal Warrior.
Loses Eternal Warrior, which is a big one. And can't have the brutes to bullet soak for him. He still gets 3 emanations. I'd probably kid him out about the same. It's real hard thinking of emanations for the HQs if you're not making them psychers, because a lot of the stuff like, okay, well, rending. Yeah, well, he's a monstrous creature. Who cares? Shred. He strikes 7. What are like, you know, like,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of just sort of like, oh, well, I guess I could. So I think what's going to happen most games, at least until I kind of settle into the list, is just take whatever points I have left over. You know, oh, I got to spare like 30 points I need to fill. All right, well, let's take some stuff on the HQ choices. Because even on their own, just like as a basic thing, you know, he's still a monstrous creature that's toughness 6, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, weapon skill, you know, better than anybody who's not an HQ unit. So what more do you need, really?
Would you take him over the the Demon Lord?
Me specifically, probably not at first. I think the extra 40 points is well spent, just for the horror of saying, yeah, this is turn 1, and he's strength 9, you know, and it has a ripple effect, right? All the shooting weapons are based on your own strength. So I think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth it to the extent that you must take a Demon Lord instead of the Greater Demon. The Demon Lord is also a 0 to 1 choice, so it's not like you can spam them. So I'm sure you'll see some Greater Demons in there. But, you know, it's cool. It's solid. It's sort of your generic dude who's coming out leading a horde. If you've already got a Greater Demon sitting around, this is your guy. And then you get to the Ruinstorm Demon Chosen, which are like the Herald equivalents, for those of you that know that. He's only 50 points. He's on a 32 mil base. Only toughness 4, 3 wounds, 3 attacks, strength 5, which is fun. Still only initiative 4, which is so sad. But the cool thing is that this guy's kind of like a buff dude. He's got a rule, Shepherd of Malign Intent. You can, at the start of the game, before any models are deployed, you can decide to either give him preferred enemy infantry, preferred enemy bike, jet bike, cavalry, or preferred enemy monstrous creatures and flying monstrous creatures. And yeah, just to him.
But then, assuming he could join a unit,
and he makes things exciting.
Which I could see a lot of these guys ending up in lists.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like this is, I think what'll generally happen is you'll have your one big nasty HQ, because I think that them and like the Shrikes are going to be your main anti-tank.
Yep.
It's just walking up to somebody with a strength 8 assault punch and just trying to beat tanks to death. So you're probably going to have at least one of the Greater Demons, the Demon Lords, and then a couple of demons, Demon Chosen, to provide the buffs for whoever you feel needs a good buff. Although, God, do you need preferred enemy when you have some of the other nasty tricks you can take? I don't know.
It just becomes
it gets real rude.
Yeah. Will, did Steven use any of these guys in your game? Do you remember?
No, he didn't.
He did.
I thought he did.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
He did have a
Chosen.
Yeah.
He had a Demonette Chosen, which was a psyker, and used her to manipulate the Demonettes, and then to debuff Medusan's squad. I will say that Shadrach was able to kill the Demonette Chosen. And he also had the Nurgle Chosen. And he used that to just enfeeble dudes before he charged with Miasma of Rot, or yeah. So being enfeebled and reducing their toughness, and then charging in with Miasma of Rot and reducing toughness, he was just like a regular ass punch would instant death Marine.
Oh, man. That's rude.
Yeah, bringing the Marines down to toughness, too. It was like...
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. Now
crazy.
I'm in the same boat as Austin. I'm going to be bringing Outer Blight, and then I'll be bringing 2 Chosen. for that specifically, to enfeeble before I assault with my plague bearers, and
so he was bringing an etheric dominion for resplendent terror, I guess is what he was doing.
Yeah,
then.
he had the resplendent terror,
which is the one that lets you take all the emanations of hate. Because I've noticed you've mentioned a couple of the like emanation or the etheric specific ones.
Yeah, because he gave brass collars to his bloodletter. Is that what they're called? The bloodletters?
No, they're all lesser demons.
Yeah, but
but it would have been a lesser demon.
But the bloodletter lesser demons.
Yeah, the lesser demons
modeled as bloodletters.
Yes. Okay. Not pedantic, but yes. Yeah.
No, I think it's important, and because everything is based on base size, right? So, I mean, Stephen gave his bloodletters brass collars and, cornate things, but there's no reason at all, rules-wise, that he was required to. He could have given them, anything. They could have had Assault 1 pinning. They could have had...
When I told Stephen that I was going to be buying all the corn models and running them with Nurgle rules, his mind exploded. He was like, "Why would you do that? That's so not narrative."
Because you can. Because
exactly. I was
that's a slippery slope you want to go on right there, Austin.
No, and I will say I'm not using any unconverted demon models. So while I'm not going to poo-poo anybody, having a bunch of bloodletters running around with, Slaneshi upgrades. That's not how I'm going to roll. I am though interested in how people are going to describe this list. Because I think it'll be really important as a demon player, because you can get some ridiculous combos. You're not playing an army that most people have played against probably. So as just sort of like,
not to mention, just about every single army can be unique.
Yeah. And every single unit, right? Like, you can have bloodletters and like, oh yeah, the red bloodletters have these 3 special rules, but the orange bloodletters have these 3 special rules.
Sure.
And that's totally fine. So I think it is incumbent upon demon players.
Just please bring us a cheat sheet.
Bring a cheat sheet.
Do your opponent a favor.
If I can bring this down to Nova, I'm going to do an army list that'll have, here's the model, like here's a unit, here's their abilities, and here is a picture of the thing.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I think that's really solid.
Because otherwise, it'll just get real confusing, and I can see people, even like Steven's not a bad dude. He's not a whack guy. And he brings his army, and he's been playing it for, a year or two, and he knows everything. And, he plays Jesse and Dave all the time, and they are now familiar with, oh, yeah, the red bloodletters are this, the blue ones are that.
Yep.
And then you go to Nova or something, and a guy that's never played Demons before is going to get to turn 2 and be like, what the fuck is happening?
That's literally what happens to me every time I play Jason's Mechanicum. And I've played Jason's Mechanicum a bunch, and I'm still like, what the fuck does that thing do?
Yeah.
How does it do that?
I just shoot at it.
Yeah.
Tell me if it hits or not.
Yeah, exactly.
So any of you that are contemplating a demon army, please, for God's sake, have an easy way of letting your opponent know what's what if you bring it to events.
Yeah.
Please let your creative flag fly, but definitely cheat sheet, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Color code.
Yeah, and I will say, Steven's sticking to the GW line.
Yeah.
And using appropriate rules for that type was really made it much simpler to keep track of who had what.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I think he might, apart from maybe some 8th edition refugees dusting off their old demons, I think he might be in the minority. Online anyway, people are talking about bringing all sorts of craziness. And like, God bless. Like, I'm not bringing
minority. Yeah.
I'm not bringing a single demon model in my army if I can get away with it. They're going to be converted.
Okay.
And you may or may not be able to tell that they started out as bloodletters. Dave is pointing at my bloodletters that are refugees from an End Time Chaos list that I played twice before Age of Sigmar. Thank you, GW.
I'm just going to paint up a bunch of bases and run that and be like, they're ghosts. So.
I mean, specifically, they do say only the base size matters. So
it's true.
You could have no models at all on them and say they're invisible, and GW at least couldn't throw you out. I would if you came to my event, but Will tends to run ours, so he can do whatever he wants. It's a true story.
True story. All right, so going So Shepherd of the Malign Intent is definitely my vote for the coolest special rule. So far, it's very cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and it's got a great ring to it.
It does.
They've themed everything really nicely for this list. Then we get into the elites. The Demon Brutes are the exact same thing that we talked about with the Demon Lord, except an elite choice. They do have the Vanguard of Hell, so you don't need to bring that Demon Lord if you want something that absolutely comes in turn one, which is nice. You never know when you're not going to pull a Steven and roll nothing but ones and twos for your whole army and lose turn one. So I don't think we need to mess around with them too much. They are the only elite choice, though.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, because I feel like in Horus Heresy, like GW tends to love packing the elite slot, and we got one.
For now.
No, I completely agree. Elites are the heavy slot, or the most desirable slot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, seeing them only have one elite, I guess I have to fill all my elite slots with brutes then. I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, and they'll all come in turn one, and each squad can have a different lineup. So you can have 4 different types of brutes come in and just ruin everybody's day. Yep. I should note that they do come in squads of, I think, 3 is the minimum.
3, and you can take up to 3 more.
Take up to 3 more, 150 points, 50 points each for additionals, too easy.
It's a no-brainer.
Now we get to the part that I really enjoy. The troops. This list is spoiled for troops. The first up is the Lesser Demons, 60 points for 5. And they are a marked improvement over the old ones. The big thing for me is that they're 2 wounds apiece. Strength 4, toughness 4. So again, first 2 turns, strength 5, toughness 5. Late game strength and toughness of 3, but just win the game on turn 4. I don't know what's the problem. And 2 attacks each base. And you can get 15 more of them for 12 points a model. They can take up to 3 emanations of horror, which makes them, I think, the most. I don't think anybody can get more than 3. And for my list specifically, they'll have 4, because I'll be getting that extra one, which is amazing. And it's amazing really because of Ephemeral Terror. That's the emanation that gives you frag grenades, right? So when I'm looking at my troop choices, I'm pretty much saying, hey, the free extra one that I've got is going to be the 1 points to give them frag grenades, because everybody that's ever played not Space Marines and like doesn't get frag grenades stock knows how much it sucks to charge somebody in terrain and just die. It's not exciting. No. So for these, I'm thinking Ephemeral Terror, very exciting. I'm also thinking Bone Shard Harpoons. It's 3 points a model for the little guys, 12-inch range, strength is the user, AP 4, assault 1, pinning. And I really like pinning weapons ever since Jason started taking all of those pinning weapons against my poor militia and just pinned the shit out of everything. I also really like the idea of Sundering Fangs on these guys. I don't think I'd take it on all of them. So it's 5 points. And instead of doing your normal attacks, you fight at initiative step 1, and the single attack is made at twice the normal strength of the model to a maximum of 10 and gains Sunder. So just to have my generic little troops be able to walk up to a tank, or, you know, that somebody's trying to tar pit me with a dreadnought and be like, you know what, here's a bunch of strength 8. Like, deal with that. You gonna die.
With Sunder.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Spite weapon. I'm going to give a couple, at least one. So I've got, like I said, I've already got the models made for a lot of this, and I've got a little pack of flyers. So Demonic Wings, obviously, for the jump pack infantry. Like Dave and I have mentioned earlier, that'll mean that even if you do come in turn 1, drop pod, surround my warp rift, I can just hop over you and still get out, which is very exciting. Mm-hmm. And then I'm not sure. I'm not sure what those guys are. Probably the Warp Scale Hide, which is the 3-up armor save one. If you're not the Khorne Etheric Dominion. Just because I like having a 3-up armor save. And once, especially for a flying unit, once you get away from the the Rift. 3-up is way better than a 5-up reroll.
Oh, yeah.
Technically, it's like a percentage point better, but you have to stay close to the Rift, and I'm not doing that.
Sure.
Also, the basis of them are lizard men, so they're scaly already, so it all works out. But you can really, like, you can do so many good things with this. Like, you can give them a Brotherhood of Psychers. You can do whatever you want. Like, I just love this list so much for its convertibility. Like, that lesser demon unit encompasses, pink whores, bloodletters, plague bearers, demonettes. All of them can get great upgrades and be right there.
And those things are no longer a thing, right? Like there's no more profiles for those.
No, right. There is no such thing in 30K as a demonette or a bloodletter. They're all lesser demons. As far as the demon list, the Ruinstorm demon list is concerned, there's not a thing as like Khorne doesn't exist. Like Tzeentch, I don't think you'll see the word Tzeentch in there at all. Nope. Khorne might come up once talking about Kabanda. But as far as just the meat of the army, even the etheric dominion, that's, I forget the name of it, Tide of Blood, something like that.
Yeah.
But like the one that's very obviously, this is Khorne and everything's red. They don't say the word Khorne. Like if you want to be,
Crimson Fury.
Crimson Fury, yeah. But it doesn't outright come out and say Khorne. So if you want to be, whatever sort of demonic thing you can think of, like you go right ahead. I love it. I love it so much.
Austin, are you going to be summoning any of these?
No, I'm not. One, because a lot of the demon stuff can't actually summon.
Okay.
Actually, I'm not entirely sure if any of them can summon now that I think on it. Because the Demon Lord specifically can't take Malefic.
Okay.
The Greater Demon might be able to. I don't know. But do you want to take a break and talk about demonology? I know you're excited to talk about demonology.
I am, just because I think it's interesting, and we sort of went down this rabbit hole. The demonology entry on page 254 in Book 8 completely replaces the malefic powers from the Age of Darkness Red Book. So page 255, demonology, the malefic powers do get a little bit of a rewrite. Not a huge one, but
much improved, though.
Much improved. So, yeah. So, I think it bears mentioning that the summoning still is a Warp Charge 3. It is a conjuration. It's still 12 inches, and you get a unit of 10 Ruinstorm lesser demons. But like Austin said, they're just so much better.
Yeah, you're doubling the wounds of the old summoning lesser demons because they're 2 wounds apiece. You get an emanation of horror for free, I believe.
Yeah. Yes.
Only one, but do you need more than one? Like you can make them all shred or rending or just horrible, horrible things you can do to other people.
And
just make them all miasma of rot. Or I guess you can't choose that. God, look, I'm sorry, I keep going on about miasma of rot.
No, miasma's rot is super good. It's -1 toughness. It's -1 to the armor V.
Bad grenades that don't expire. Like after turn 1 of the charge, it's persistent. It'll always keep their toughness down. It's amazing.
Yeah, it doesn't stack with other emanations of rot, but that is cold comfort when it happens the second and third rounds of combat.
And you guys mentioned that with the summon demons, they are like lesser powered, right?
Only lesser powered in the sense that these lesser demons only get 1 emanation when a standard unit taken as a troop gets 3.
That's a good point, though.
But they also lose a Demon of the Ruinstorm, Tides of Madness, and Parting the Veil.
That's right. So they wouldn't come through the warp.
They don't have plus and minuses to their strength and toughness.
Correct.
Which is
makes them less.
Neither here nor there. I know we're all sort of harping on the fact that they're +1 strength and toughness in turn 1 and 2, but turn 4 and 5 they're -1 strength and toughness. So
that's right. Yeah, they had a little box here with the designer's note. So this update is intended to bring summoned demons in line with the new rules for Ruinstorm demons, so it should be noted that summoned demons are intentionally less powerful than their unbound kin. In terms of the narrative of the Horus Heresy, this helps to reinforce the idea that demons are still a great unknown, undefined and strange to the warriors of the Imperium, as opposed to the more clearly defined and understood menace they represent in later millennia.
And I do really like that from a fluff perspective.
Yeah.
One, because if you read like Eisenhorn or Ravenor or something like that, you know that bound demons aren't as good.
Sure.
Right? And also, on the flip side of it, if I'm Joe Chaos Sorcerer, fresh from my corruption at the hands of whoever the hell, some Sons of Horus librarian just going to summon himself some demons. He doesn't know what the hell he's summoning, right? He probably doesn't have the very specific thing that lets him summon a pack of bloodletters. He's pretty much like crank calling the warp and seeing what pops out. And, sometimes that could be really good, but probably it's going to be the guy that, not your first pick.
Yeah, I remember in Eisenhorn, right, when Trubael, is bound into the the flesh of the
demon host.
The demon host, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's super powerful, but he's still not like as scary as he is when he gets out, right? When he gets out, like that's bad, right? Then Eisenhorn starts like things are going wrong here, because he just becomes exponentially just more deadly. So yeah, I do think that makes a lot of sense with the evolution of hell there. That's very cool. But yeah, so I just wanted to touch on that real quickly, Austin.
Yeah, and then I think some of the other ones, pretty much all of the old summoning, like Juggernauts or whatever, is now the generic version of that. You get an emanation. Yeah. And all the demons do seem to be at least a half step up from their old incarnations, so it is only to the good.
And summoned demons do not benefit from any etheric dominion taken by any detachment.
Oh, so you would not be able to give them any.
Oh, yeah, so you couldn't give them...
They may choose a single emanation of horror, but no other options. This emanation of horror must be declared when the unit is deployed into the game. Summoned demons do not benefit from the etheric dominion taken by any detachment in any friendly army and may not select one for themselves.
But if they can't select one for themselves, and this is important, they can't take 4 of the emanations.
Yeah.
So you can't summon demons to make the enemy -1 toughness because you need the specific etheric dominion for that. So
interesting.
So, all right, that's actually
that's what I said earlier, was that you can't give them Miasma Rot because it's specific to a dominion.
Yeah.
Though it would have been great, is what I was saying.
But you just throw up another blob to
Yeah, you just summon 20 more and fuck it.
So we know that demons cannot summon other demons, right?
Yes.
Okay. But can you have a primary detachment of demons and then have an ally Thousand Suns army?
Yes.
That uses demonology to summon demons?
Yes, provided you don't have the Malal etheric dominion that stops you from taking allies.
Right.
That's not Malal. The Malal that's not Malal.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's not Malal. Fight me. Fight me right now. But yeah, no, so you can have T-Sons just doing shenanigans all day.
Yeah, I was just thinking about, good old shenanigans. Those are always fun.
Yep.
Or word bearers, which I think go really well with, obviously, demons.
I would really love to see a word bearer sacrificial offering rite of war with demon allies, just like the theme of it would be really cool, I think.
It would be awesome.
Yeah. Or just summon a shit ton of demons.
Yeah.
So all the militiamen die. Poor militiamen.
Oh, yeah.
So that's demonology. It's exciting. It's cool. So now...
That's the summoning part.
Yeah, the summoning. Summoning. I don't think anything else really changed, though. I think it just changed the summoning.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can go through each one of these, but I don't know if there's anything you really are excited to talk about, Austin. What else are you going to have in your army?
So, I'm actually going to have at least one of each troop choice.
Okay.
Because I love all of them.
They are pretty cool.
The Ruinstorm Demon Beasts, 75 points for 3. And they're Strength 5, Toughness 5 base.
Wow.
And that's fantastic. You can throw 7 more of them in there. You can take 2, or in my case, 3 emanations of horror. These guys are going to have rending. They're going to have shred. And they're going to have probably 3-up armor, and you deal with that.
Especially in turn 1 and 2.
Oh God,
Good
yes.
God.
Yeah.
Strength
I've got-
6,
I've got
toughness
10
6.
of them right there. The lizard men with the Nid shenanigans. Yeah, they're coming. They're coming for you. If it makes you feel any better, I only have the bits to make like 2 more though.
Got to get that Volkite, Will.
Yep, get on it. Then I'm also going to have some swarms because I love Nurglings and just tiny demons seem hilarious. Mine are night goblins with the faces drilled out and little zombie hands, so it's like little faceless, creepy. They're like baby,
they are
baby
creepy.
Dementors.
They're very
right?
cute. Actually, I really like them.
Baby Dementors. Yeah, they're classic swarm, right? Weapon
great.
skill, ballistic skill, strength, all 2, toughness 3, 4 wounds apiece, D6 attacks. I'm going to make these guys psychers, and they're going to have psychic shriek,
Perfect.
and it's just going to be them running around going as high pitched as possible.
Until your head explodes.
Yes, yes, until your head explodes. I'm probably going to give them for the other 2 etheric dominations I can take. I like Shroud of Darkness on them, so you don't get the bonus attacks from charging, just to make it a little more annoying to take them out, because, again, 4 wounds apiece. That's not that it's a lot to chew through when you're only toughness 3, but it sucks. Like, nobody's thrilled to do that. And then, I don't know. And this is the thing I should point out. I might not give them another emanation of horror. Oh, no, you can only take 1 option. So they would get 2 from me.
Yep.
So that would be the 2.
Yep.
You don't have to take emanations of horror for these. It's always may select. So if you like the stats of just your, a demon beast, just 2 attacks at strength 5, toughness 5, that's all you need. You don't need to go crazy.
If you're looking to shave off some points and just do masses of bodies.
They do add up, right?
Oh, yeah.
My demon beasts are like 35 points a model, which they still only have a 5-up invul, like 3-up armor.
Yeah, I think Steven's 20-man squad troops with the Cornate options was running over 400 points.
Wow.
Yeah.
For a 20-man squadron.
10 of mine, when I pointed out, was like 450.
Oh, my gosh.
And as somebody who plays militia, where literally the most expensive squad I have is 205 for 20 guys, it's a little sticker shock.
But it makes it super easy to build quickly a good, powerful army.
I've got like 1,500 points easy over there, just sitting around.
That's 1,500 points?
Well, roughly.
That's actually that pretty low model count.
Yeah, it's 10 beasts, 10 swarms, a dozen flyers, 4 of the brutes, and then, a generic, I think a greater demon is what I pointed it out as.
Keep in mind all those extra wounds, too, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my swarms. One thing you should remember about swarms, and I say this only because we had to look it up when we started to see, all right, well, they're swarms. What the hell does that mean? They ignore difficult terrain because I guess they're just so tiny that they don't care about all this fallen sticks and stuff because
They just walk right under it.
And any blast or template weapon that does an unsaved wound causes 2 wounds unless it's instant death.
Yeah.
So, that'll suck. Like,
Stay away from the flamers.
like the Death Guard flamethrowers that are rolling around with strength 5, just coming in and melting my poor tiny demons.
Demolisher cannons will be nice.
Demolisher cannons are going to be instant deathing these poor
That's
bastards anyway. But like frag grenades,
Yeah.
like who shoots frag missiles in 30K?
You'll see them now.
Yeah, that's how you handle these little guys.
That's solid.
But again, they're coming out of the warp and just high pitched shrieking at you until your head explodes. And that's just so adorable to me. I can't not have at least 10 of them. And then we come to the Ruinstorm Possessed. So this is another answer to the question of, oh God, what if I roll all 1s and 2s for my reserve rolls?
Or even, what if all my warp rifts get somehow blocked?
What if
right?
somebody fucks with all my warp rifts? Look at you, White Scars.
Yep.
All your infiltrating shenanigans, Raven Guard.
Bikes.
Yeah. So what these guys are is they're like your low grade possessed, right? They haven't been through some ritual. They're pretty much a meat puppet with a demon just like working the levers in the head. I can only assume looking exactly like that alien from Men in Black. You know the one I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. They start off as possessed auxilia, which I think they're all solar oxys too, right? They got a 4-up save. Oh no, they got a 5-up save. So I guess they are just poor bastard militiamen that have been caught and turned. They have an auxilia rifle, close combat weapon, or you can upgrade all of them in a unit to possessed legionaries.
What?
Which are exactly like normal Space Marines, because even if you're a meat puppet, you're an Astartes meat puppet, and you're still BS4 with a bolter and power armor.
That's crazy.
You can't give them as much upgrades as a normal squad. Like you can't get a sergeant or anything like that, but you can. I can swing this over. For every 5 legionnaires in the unit, you can give one a special weapon. You can give it either a plasma gun, a flamer, or a melta-gun. The plasma gun is the longest ranged weapon in the demon army.
15 inches?
Wow, I didn't even think about that.
Oh, no, it's
24 inch, right?
24 inches, yeah.
It is also the only weapon that, well, one of 2, I think, that shoots more than once. And it's strength 7, whereas any of your other troop shooting is going to be strength 5 at best, minus, the warp shenaniganries, because all the weapons are strength user. So I see these coming in a couple of different ways. One is you take them, to get that melta gun or plasma gun, a couple of plasma guns, whatever. But I think what a lot of people are going to take them for is that security, right? I'm going to put a warp rift in my deployment zone. I'm going to deploy these guys around it. So no matter what, I'll have a spot for my guys to jump out on. And the modeling opportunities for these are just going to be great. I plan on using just a bunch of dead Marines. No possession, no tentacles or weird shit like that. Just kind of zombie Space Marines. And then I'm going to try to see if I can figure out a way to make the armor panels bubble, like Legion heraldry and that sort of stuff is kind of being, the demonness of it is kind of bubbling it away.
Just take a lighter, maybe, and like if they're plastic Marines.
Yeah, I'm thinking that, or maybe some.
I would, if you want a recommendation from me, I would do plastic glue.
Yeah,
and then while it's like on the mend, take a stippling brush and stipple it.
Yeah. That is an excellent idea, and I will almost certainly be stealing that. And they're just going to hang out and guard my objectives. Now, I will say they're guarding my objectives, but no player may ever score victory points for the destruction or removal of this unit. Slaves to Darkness special rule. So if you want to be cheap and just have a bunch of possessed militia, which would run you, let's see, it's 50 points for 10, and then they're 5 points each, right? So 100 points, get you 20 of them to sit on an objective or do whatever you want. And that's not bad, especially for the demon army when everything is so goddamn expensive. Right? Yeah. So just for the modeling of it, like I don't think if I was a whack player, I don't think I would bring 20 zombie Space Marines when I could be taking more brutes or lessers or swarms. But from a modeling perspective and just sort of the theme of it, yeah, I need to pick a loyalist legion and zombie up some
desecrate them.
It'd be good.
Pretty badass.
Yeah.
Cool, man.
Anything else you're going to be using?
So
we got about 5 units left in this.
So
list.
The Demon Cavalry, I won't just because I don't have models ready made for it.
Mm-hmm.
Their cavalry, strength 4, toughness 4, 120. So this is the one unit in the army that I looked at and I thought, but why would you do it if you can just take the beast? Because they're the exact same points for 1 less strength and toughness.
Fill in a fast attack slot.
And they're a fast attack slot. And they have cavalry. What does cavalry get you that beast doesn't? Anybody know off the top of your head? Will?
I'm going to look it up right now.
All right. But I mean, just the simple fact that I have to try and figure that out.
I have no idea, man. I've been thinking about what the difference is.
I know cavalry can't go upstairs, which just makes them worse. I don't understand. So this may be if you're really trying to fill a fast attack slot or you're already troop choice already taken up, this might be a viable option for you. I'm not thrilled. All right, we got it here. Yeah.
They can fall back 3.
They have Hammer of Wrath. That is the difference.
And fall back 3d6.
So do beasts.
Oh,
Yeah. They both move 12. No, and beasts automatically pass dangerous terrain checks. Meanwhile, beasts treat difficult, or cavalry treat difficult terrain as dangerous terrain. So that's depressing.
Cavalry is just shittier beasts.
With Hammer of Wrath.
With Hammer of Wrath.
Except these are also 1 less strength and toughness. I'm not a whack guy. I'll never tell you not to bring a unit, but you will get style points from me if you do bring beasts or demon cavalry instead of beasts. Yeah, that's depressing. Then there's the Shrike. That's the only flyer. Well, not the only flyer. You can give your flying monstrous creature upgrades to some of your HQs. But this is only, it starts off generically as a flying monstrous creature. Can take 2 emanations of horror. Strength 7, toughness 6, 5 wounds, 4 attacks. It's nasty.
That's beefy.
This is your only way to deal with flyers. Nothing else in the army skyfires, nothing in the army flies. I would give this big guy the Rift Barb for strength +2, AP 3, assault 1, armor bane, and just hope that ruins Jerry's day.
Just watching the skies.
It won't. But he's also 160 points, I think 170 with Rift Barb, and then you can give him, 3-up armor save or whatever else you can think of. If you really wanted to, I would probably run him at 170, maybe take a couple. And
is this really the only unit in the army that can deal with flyers?
I mean, the Demon Lord and the Greater Demon, you can give them wings and they become flying monstrous creatures and they can try. But that's it. Like nothing Skyfires.
The Shrike is your air superiority demon.
Yeah, like nothing has the range to really hit. If I bring a Thunderbolt in, demon armies I don't think they could take it down.
I think demon armies are going to struggle against then
bring out those Fire Raptors.
And Storm Eagles and what's that Rider War?
Yeah, there's a tactic. Just keep everything, run Angel's Wrath, and just
keep everything in airplanes.
Run everything in Storm Eagles and be like, well, I'm not coming down.
And just wait until turn 5 when they all weaken and drop in on
perfect.
Yeah, so that's like an obvious weakness of the demon army that I think, and this is another reason why I don't like the demon cavalry, because you're going to need your fast attack slots to take Shrikes to stop Will's 5 Fire Raptor list that he's planning right now.
That's right, because you can't...
Never.
Yep, because you can only take 1 Shrike per slot. There's no doubling up or adding extra models.
They're not in whatever the monstrous creature version of Squadrons is or anything like that. You get 1.
I mean, he's still a beefy boy.
Oh, yeah, no.
For sure.
I don't think, again, 5 wounds flying around at T6, he's going to be a pain to bring down.
Yeah.
But again, he's only got, you just got to do, what do you call it? Not Hammer of Wrath. Vector Strike. Got to Vector Strike some people with this guy. That's how that gets work done. So good luck with that, demon players. God help us all. Jerry is not afraid. Then we get to the heavy.
He'll probably enjoy the change of pace.
It will. I might think of some new and interesting way of marking up the kills. Just paint a tentacled horror instead of Shrike. Just God, he had nightmares for a while. It's fine.
Paint a classified, redacted.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's it for fast attack. There's only a couple, and only 2 in heavy support as well. The Greater Ruinstorm Demon Beast, the one Will was talking about. Again, this is one that's not going to see it in my army, probably just because it's got a weird base size that I don't have a lot of spares for. I do really like this guy. He's strength 8, again, in a world where your shooting is based off your strength. Toughness 6, 4 wounds, 3 attacks. He's exciting. and can take 3 emanations of horror. So you can nasty him up, and you can get additional ones, right? For 100 points, you get up to
Each.
3.
Yep.
So that's not bad. Like, I think that's a very solid, like, line breaker. Like, yeah, those Terminators you thought were going to be impressive. Like, no, you're gonna take a whole bunch of Strength 8 and die.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Demon Beast, that's what Steven took.
Yeah, they're monstrous creatures, and you could have 9 of them for 900 points. Call it like 1,000 after upgrades. That seems kind of terrifying now that I think I might have to put some of these in my army. And then you have the Ruinstorm Demon Behemoth. He's 300 points.
God.
Strength 8, toughness 7, 10 wounds.
Jesus.
10 wounds, 5 attacks, monstrous creature, can take 3 emanations of horror, and unstoppable. Any attack that normally inflicts instant death or says that the target models are moved from play instead inflicts D3 wounds on the model with the special rule.
Ooh.
In addition, attacks made with sniper or poisoned only cause wounds on a roll of 6, unless the attacker's strength would cause a wound on a lower result. He is big. He is nasty. He's on like some ridiculous sized base. I had it here just a second ago, actually. Yeah, he's on 170 by 105 mil oval base.
107.
Which I think is that a night base? Is that bigger than a night base?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest.
No, that is the night base. Yeah.
That's a night base. All right, so he is a night-sized demon. Still only a 4-up with a 5-up invul base. I mean, and I wouldn't give him 3-up armor because anything that's putting wounds on you at T7 is going to be AP3 anyway.
Most likely.
But take that 5-up, reroll.
Man.
10 wounds, man.
My Tyrannic Greatsword and Acid Bolters are no use against this guy.
Question on, because you said night, and I immediately jumped to Destroyer rules. Question on Destroyer rules and Unstoppable. You roll a 6 on the D table. Is this guy only taking D3 wounds?
Yes, it says, because that says the model is removed from play, and instead of that, you inflict D3 wounds on the model.
Is that how you read that, Will?
Yeah.
You need me to read again?
Wait, say again for me. You kind of came in quiet there.
So the question is, how does this rule interact with the D-weapon rule of rolling a 6?
Oh, yeah, no, you don't remove them from play.
Yeah.
Take D3 wounds instead.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So suck it.
Fuck.
But
Yeah.
again, toughness 7,
Yeah.
roll out those autocannons. Roll them out all day and pray.
You're right, yeah.
Pray to
Just
whatever
imagine
god you want.
A warlord just cranking rounds at this thing, and then they're like,
Just
fucking
chunks of it
auto
falling
cannon
off,
spots,
but
like,
still
"Don't
going
worry,
at you.
boss, take care of this. We got it. Bunch of auto cannons kill this thing.
Right? But wait, there's more. Because it's Forge World, and it gives you a Lord of War option in here. The Ruinstorm Archdemon.
Yeah, this thing is just
600 points.
insane.
Weapon skill 6, ballistic skill 5, strength 9, toughness 8, 10 wounds, 6 attacks. Only initiative 3, which is a little weird, but whatever.
Titans are initiative.
Yeah, like
Two.
he's not trying, and he doesn't get emanations of horror. He gets his own little pile of weirdness. Can I steal this?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So he gets his own little thing, which he can take 3 of. Lord of Chaos. This model gets a 4-up invul against shooting and 3-up while locked in combat. Reaper of Souls. You can sacrifice your normal attacks to make a number of attacks equal to the number of models in any one unit it is locked in combat with. They are resolved at half its current strength, which again starts off at 9, becomes 10, at AP2. So you do round down, but still, the 20-man tactical Marines tried to tar pit this guy. Take 20 strength 4 AP2 attacks, weapon skill 6. They're not tar pitting you, just period. You can get Breaker of Titans. You get rid of all of your normal attacks. I'm sorry. Still again, half of your attacks rounded down at strength D AP1.
Oh.
So if he comes out of a warp rift and punches your Reaver,
Yeah.
he could just punch it straight to hell.
Wow.
You can make him mastery level 4. You can make him explode on the catastrophic damage table when he dies. That's fun.
A wound in reality.
You can give him a Hellstorm Strength 6 AP4 Soul Blaze flamer weapon, or a Massive Blast. Should say or a Massive Blast Assault 1 Strength 8 AP4 24 inch
Am I
range
the
weapon.
only one hearing the squeaky voice?
Oh, that is Kaylee, or possibly Whiskey.
It is Kaylee. She is just going to town. on her
Kaylee is
little,
so excited for the new demons. She is beating the
Yes.
shit out of, I believe, a hedgehog.
Yeah.
For a second there, I thought it was Jesse getting so mad that he just
He's got like a little stress ball. He's got like a little. That's what it is. He's got like a little stress ball right now. Just working it out, man.
You can give him a. You can give him a 2-up armor save. You can rend time and space, make your own warp rift markers. That's fun. But my personal favorite, Beyond Death. You lose your last wound, you're not immediately removed from play. Instead, roll a d6. On a 4-up, it's placed into ongoing reserves with d6 wounds remaining.
Oh my god, that would just ruin somebody's day.
Once per model in any game, so it won't Celestine every
Right.
turn you.
Right.
But again, it has 10 wounds and is toughness 8. So if you need to roll that twice, you've already fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Lord of War. It's 600 points. It's not meant to be anything but super OP. It just seems like a lot of fun.
It does.
I guess I should say, is 600 points really worth 600 plus? All these cost points.
Okay.
Anything from 25 for the blow yourself up catastrophic damage thing, all the way up to 100. Most of them is about 50. Kaylee is very excited. She is the goodest girl.
What's the picture here? Does anybody know what that is? What is that?
I think that's
the,
the Forge World Bloodthirster.
Okay.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one.
The big one.
That big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this thing's more points than Kabanda, who fucking almost kills
Yeah, Sanguinius.
Sanguinius. So, like, I don't think we've even seen one of these things in the lore.
This is like your first circle bloodletters.
Yeah.
Like, this is just super nasty. It's all the bad things.
It's all the
ever
bad
heard. Like,
things.
And honestly, like in my head, when I read this, the first thing I thought about wasn't like a super powerful bloodletter or whatever, or bloodthirster. It was one of those minor chaos deities.
Yeah.
Like when we talked last episode about how, Furies are actually their own little thing.
This is the echo of the first murder, right? This is the end.
echo
This
the
is
first
the end of
murder
Empire.
is this guy.
Yeah.
It's, whatever big manifestation of the Furies. I don't like getting attacked by things with bat wings.
Yeah.
Whatever sort of, it's awesome.
It is awesome.
It's awesome.
It's
It's terrifying. It'll be like 700 or 800 points by the time you're done. So that's Beaver. That's Titan money.
It's Titan.
but
It's definitely Titan money. Yeah.
I also can't wait to do another Siege of the Emperor's Palace game. Siege of Terror. Just somebody brings like 2 or 3 of these running around.
What size base is this guy going?
Oh, fuck if I know. What is it? Ruinstorm Archdemon. It doesn't actually have a base size.
It doesn't need a base size. It fucking you put it on the table.
It's like a Titan.
This is
It's
where
it's a Titan.
You bring a kitchen plate and or a 20 millimeter square. Just a snotling on a 20 millimeter square. GW official.
Perfect.
Bringing it to Nova Big Blam. Heard it here first.
Yoink. Nice.
So yeah, that's the Demon Army by and large. I think it's awesome. I think the conversion opportunities are fantastic. I think it'll be really good on the table. Whether it's too good, we'll only have to play to find out. Sometimes I look at this list and I think about it the same way I thought about Custodes and Inferno when they first dropped. Just like, God, these are way better than
Everything else.
Yeah. Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, my militia could take these.
Yeah.
But I think my militia could take anything because I am wildly overconfident in the common man. So yeah, I don't know.
Firm faith in the Emperor.
But I think in the hands of the 30K community, because there are mostly narrative gamers out to just tell a cool story, roll some dice, have a good time. I think this will be a really fun list. And I think it's a great addition, like overall.
Agreed.
Definitely. And also keep in mind, as crazy as these demons can be, they also, in this book 8, gave us a huge little toolbox
Yes.
of
Yeah,
Psi
you wanna
Arcana.
talk about that.
Let's save that for the next episode.
Next episode, all right.
We're running a little about an hour and a half right now.
Jesus.
So yeah.
But
So-
you're right, Jesse. That's a great point. Yeah, they definitely gave us some tools to deal with this and other things.
And
right?
I think the general feel, not to get too into it, the general feeling among the community is you can take these.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Just at events like
these are not relics of the Dark Age,
not
right?
relics of the Dark
these
Age
are
with
not.
permission.
Yeah,
They're still restricted to a single one.
right.
But yeah, and we'll get into that in next episode.
Okay.
So wrapping it up today, do you guys got any plugs, Dave?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Austin?
No, I'm not important enough to have plugs.
Okay.
Paint
Will.
Militia.
Paint Militia. Will.
Yeah, I'm gonna plug Volkite.
Yeah, Volkite Industries.
and
What
the
you
Army
don't know
Kings,
is
I
that
think.
Will has a bunch of Volkite he's just waiting to put on eBay after this episode drops.
So, I guess just Volkite, Fire Raptors, and Storm Eagles, guys. I mean,
It's not hard.
if you're looking for what's gonna beat demons, just don't play the game. That's it. That's how you
That's right.
beat demons. You just don't even try.
You win without fighting. Very Sun Tzu.
For ourselves, be sure to check out rr30k.com where new posts every so often. Be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter at rr30k podcast. And for this episode, my name's Jesse. I'm here with Dave, Austin, and Will. I'll have a good night and keep those dice rolling.
See ya.